Hey everybody, it's time for another lower body vlog, and I kind of reversed the order a little bit today because I wasn't sure how I was going to feel after pause squats. I'm like, let me just do some rep work on deadlifts first, just some nice lightweight. So this is my warm-up, because people are always like, oh, you don't show your warm-ups on deadlifts. Well, there was my warm-up. Okay, so then I used the same weight and did 10. And I'm dead serious, by the way. That is literally, if I deadlift first, my warm up is to pull 405 for one, and then I start working. And I've always done it that way. So I went ahead and did 10 reps of 405. Nice solid pump and everything. And then I went over and decided to do my beltless pause squats. And I'm doing all this beltless, and I think I've realized I'm a little frustrated with the glute ham raise because the pads, I need to replace those pads, and plus it makes me cramp, and I don't necessarily need it for hamstrings. I'll probably work it back in though. I always say that, then I'll work it back in. The belt squat, it is not getting what I need with my quads. I simply, no matter how I set it up, I can't get a proper deep quad stretch at the bottom while still being able to lock it correctly. And it's mainly because it's on an arm, it's on a pendulum. And you can't do any sort of squat pattern movement that way. I don't even see how people use these pendulum squats. Like, I see those at the gym, and I tried to mess with one. At a time when I was squatting over 500 pounds, I went to mess with one, and I couldn't do it. Like, I couldn't even, it's just so awkward. So it's such an unnatural movement. Squats should be straight up and down. So I went ahead and I'm like, let me just do the beltless pause work, and did 285 for 10. Nice, good set. Breathing was a little heavy, so I'm like, let me just start ramping up on this, and I'll just kind of do it till my quads kind of hurt. So what I ended up doing with this, I think I'm going to reverse pyramid it next time. Because I want to get the little bit of heavier work, and then if it starts to feel, a little uncomfortable in terms of back positioning, then I can go to this lighter work and just burn my quads out. But overall, happy with how it felt. And yes, I know it's lighter than people expect to see me squatting, but this is beltless pause work. And, at one time I was doing a bunch of triples with 405 with this on the UK, and then I walked in and just hit a 500 squat. So I kind of know where my strength needs to be to do whatever I need to do. But again, I need to be hitting depth, and that's been my biggest issue. Again, coming back to squatting, I haven't been happy with the depth on all the work sets. This will force me to get good at depth again, and it will give me more quad hypertrophy. Because even if we're doing lower reps, the thing to remember, if I'm just not getting the stretch, I'm not getting the quad size. My quads, even after doing the belt squats, doing the stuff on the reverse hyper, the leg extensions, I got a good pump, but they're still not as big as they used to be. Like, I'm looking at this footage right here, and I'm like, dude, my quads are small. So what has always built quads for me? Deep squats. And pause squats really seem to do their own thing. So again, I did 325 there, and did 5, and then I did a couple triples with 345. And at that point I started getting fatigued, probably because I did all that rep work first. So I think what I'll do next time, we'll reverse the order. I'll come in, do the heavier work, and then when it gets fatiguing, I'll do some rep work, and then I'll go do my deadlifts. Okay, then we'll do deadlifts. But what I also did with this near the end, just because I'm like, the total reps, even though there's a lot of quality reps with these triples and the 5, I would like more time with my quads stretched, right? More time with my quads stretched. And we're just doing this beltless, and I know when I do standing stuff with the shorts on beltless, that's when my midsection looks the worst. It's when the loose skin, the bit of fat there left still shows, and it's okay. Just let it hang out. Like I said, over time, I'm going to keep getting leaner. We'll fix it. It's got to keep losing body fat. I'm noticeably leaner now. I mean, look at my legs and stuff. We've gotten leaner. I have to get leaner still. I mean, really, that is the only solution to lose skin. It really is. You have to burn the fat off in it. No way around it. So these triples felt really good, though. Again, trying to make sure we're getting deep, pausing at the bottom, mainly because it keeps us longer in that lengthened position, and it really fatigues the muscle fibers associated with that. So then I did a couple of really long pauses. I had to lower the pins after this first one. I realized it was almost touching. I was tapped the pin a couple times on the pause on one side. I went down to 235. Plate math, it's a 55-pound squat bar, Texas squat bar. And I'm like, let me just come down and just hold it a really long time and just keep breathing and get into these deep ones, because again, if I can get more time into that lengthened position, also I got a bit of a quad pump, right? So now I want to stretch that muscle. And I'm like, let's go ahead and just really stretch it when it's pumped. Maybe force some more mechanical tension to hit those fibers. And by the time I lift it each time, the quads are so fatigued that it feels like a serious work set on that last rep. It feels like a challenging rep on the way back up. So again, just kind of a nice way to do something like that to help with the mobility and to continue to do that. And so then I supersetted 2 of those with my first set of reverse hypers. One of the things I noticed from all that, my low back was extremely pumped from the work I did today. So the reverse hypers were very uncomfortable. So is what it is. So I only ended up doing 3 sets of these. I kind of wanted to do more, but like, man, my low back is just so pumped from that, then so pumped from doing the reverse hypers. I'm like, it's getting uncomfortable. We got some quality work in, more squatting than I've been doing. Granted, it was 4 sets, but again, we can work off of this. I can build from here, right? We can build from here, and I feel like that really is the way I need to go. The heavier work, and then taper it lighter, and then maybe some of the pause stuff, and then go do my deadlifts. Maybe a top set, and then if I need to, a back off high rep set. But I feel like pause squats and deadlifts really can handle my lower body development. The reverse hypers are really there just to make sure the posterior chain gets enough volume and to help with that recovery by pulling everything apart. Because if I'm doing all these, particularly without a belt, a lot of axial fatigue, a lot of axial loading, and I want to work this up. I want to work these volumes back up to the sort of volumes I've done in the past for lower body when I've had the biggest squats. But again, the deep pause work really going to be the way to go. It's what I used to do many, many years ago. I'm almost coming around full circle. You guys remember all the way back in the UK 10 years ago when I was doing that, right? And it is how I got to a 500 squat again back then. We need to be back over 500, even though my goals are bodybuilding more now, getting bigger, getting leaner, fixing my proportions. I always had a jacked lower body doing that stuff. Even back then, my quads were bigger when I was training that way. I looked at some old stuff. I had more quad than I do now. I didn't have any access to any machines at that time. That was all straight barbell work to build those quads back then. But it's all about the depth. It's all about the depth. And I've been preaching to people squats are the king of exercisers, and I haven't been doing that many of them. It's hypocritical. Let's fix it. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys and gals next time.